Oh, there she is.
Hello, Madam President. You are muted but visible. The smile tells me you can hear me.
Hello, thank you. My apologies, everybody. My computer was so ridiculously slow today. I don't know why.
It's that
It's
kind
a
of day.
Monday. It's a Monday.
You're absolutely right. My apologies for my tardiness. Hi, everybody.
No trouble.
So,
We are recording and live, so when at your leisure, the meeting may begin, and I'll bring up the agenda here.
Thank you. Today is September the 28th of 2020. Welcome, everyone, to this meeting of the Executive Committee of the Foundation for Excellence. My name is Dr. Angela Graham-Williams, your president, and at 3:04 p.m., we will call this meeting to order. Welcome. Most of you, I am certain, have received the minutes from our meeting August 31st of 2020. I would love to entertain a motion to for their approval.
And I have an edit. Should I say the edit before we do the motion?
You know, I do it either way. Today I was going to approve them and then have the discussion, but yes, absolutely. By all means, Director Carroll.
Just wanted to note that my name should be added to the list of directors present for that meeting. That was my first meeting.
Good catch. Thank you, Director Carroll. Any other edits while we're on the subject?
Yes, a couple of typos in the third and fourth paragraphs. My should be by. The word my, my should be by, by.
Thank you, Director Miller.
Yep,
Anything else?
didn't see anything.
So let me reword my motion. So with the inclusion of the aforementioned corrections, I would like to entertain an approval for the minutes of our August 31st, 2020 meeting of the Executive Committee of the Foundation for Excellence Board of Directors.
so moved.
Thank you, Director Itzema.
Support.
Thank you, Director Carroll. As it has been moved and supported, is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. All in favor of their approval? Say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Thank you. Reports and, I think that says communications. Yes, reports and communications.
None today, Madam President.
Okay, thank you. So we'll proceed to the regular agenda.
Yes, we have today 3 items on the regular agenda. Item 1 is director's terms. I'm scrolling down here. And this is an annual process based on the terms of directors. So it's recommended that the committee conduct their annual review of director terms in preparation for the final board meeting of the year, where directors are offered the opportunity to affirm or change their interest in continuing their service to the board. And then that allows us to trigger the process with the governance facilitator of undertaking stakeholder sector comment. That process takes generally about 90 days from beginning to end. So that's why we do it so early in the year here, is that we can really get going in the fall and be ready for the first board meeting in 2021. And then I'm going to scroll down because we have a table. If this is legible for all to see, is that okay?
Yes.
Yep.
So highlighted in yellow are terms that come due in May. So we have at-large director, city director Nathan Dannison, yourself, President Graham-Williams, yourself, Director Miller, Director Washington as well. And so we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you'll note on the far right, under pathway in that gray column, the 3 stakeholder directors are done through the governance facilitator process. And so, like I said, that's a 90-day process undertaken with, in this case, the Community Foundation. Director Dannison is the sole at-large director and also the first and so far only. And so, Director Dannison, you were placed, what seems like a decade ago now, by commission, if you remember the application process, and then we had a public review. What we would want to do is establish your desire to continue, and then I think speak with City Commission just on an informational level, because ultimately they're the ones who would reaffirm that position or not. So I think step one is affirm your stance, take it to City Commission between probably now, certainly in the end of the year, ideally sometime in November, at an agenda, kind of a date that works with a lighter agenda, and then see how we proceed from there. I think it would be a fairly straightforward conversation, though, and Director Ritzema, by all means, with your experience with Commission, maybe it's a good opportunity to weigh in on that as well.
Yeah, I think it pretty straightforward. Ultimately their call, so.
Yeah. So Director Dennison, what we would do is, I guess that's all the information you would need, and then at this coming board meeting on the 12th, just state your intentions alongside under the same agenda item as the 3 stakeholder directors, and then we'll go from there.
Understood. Thank you very much.
Okay, excellent. Were there any comments from the executive committee on this, or at any rate, it'll come up under the board agenda that the executive committee has to approve on the next item, and then the board will see this and we'll move forward that way.
So Steve, for the governance facilitator positions, if those individuals are interested in continuing, who do they need to notify? Or will they be asked?
It'll be discussed basically on the floor at the meeting, and so they can inform me as staff, and then I'll move forward as needed. We just get it read into the record of the minutes that they intend to, what their intentions are, and then staff can handle it from there.
Okay, thanks.
Steve, I'm curious
Okay,
about the term limits. There's some of us who term out in 2029, others in 2027. I know that I've probably asked you that before, but can you just bring that to my remembrance? It's staggered intentionally, is that right?
Correct. And so as the first board, it had to be established to follow the bylaws that a third of the board would time out, approximately a third of the board would time out every year. I say approximately because you have elected officials in there, so it's not entirely possible to guarantee or predict those term limits. And so there were 3 classes, so-called, of directors created, class 1, 2, and 3. And each class class 1 had a 1-year term initially, class 2 had a 2-year term, class 3 had a 3-year term. So that we started the cadence of directors terming out each year. And then once that was established, and we're still in the process of establishing it, at that point, then everyone has a 3-year term, barring those who are filling an unexpired term, for example. And so at that point, you would have everyone with the same term, 3 years, and they are staggered so that 2/3 are not expiring each year. And then the date certain here under term limit, some of them are date certain, some of them are 2 out of 3, and that's really, that column doesn't even need to necessarily be visible. It's more of an internal tracking to keep track of the some of the many moving parts I've just named. So.
Okay. I was curious because if I recall correctly, Director Dennison, Director Washington, and myself were the only 3 initially to have the 3-year term. We were part of that 3-year class, and then there were others who fell down to the 2 and the 1. And so I was just curious why mine was different from at least the 2 of them. But if it's of no matter and no consequence, then that's okay. But I was just curious about.
Let me make a note to check that 27 is not a typo. I can look into that.
Thank you.
Thanks for bringing that to my attention. Okay, and no action is requested, so with permission, I can move on to item 2 on the regular agenda.
Yes, please do.
which is approval draft agenda for October 12th. We'll scroll down to where we just about were. And this is a very familiar action at this point. Every board agenda for the regular meetings are approved by the executive committee. So an action is requested to approve the agenda with, of course, any changes that would be made. We have minutes as usual, and then we have stakeholder presentation and staff communication. It's conceivable that these are combined, but it seems at this point that it would probably be best if they were kept as two separate items. And the stakeholder presentation is a request from housing stakeholder Hoffman, Director of Open Doors, to give just a kind of a landscape scan and build awareness of that affordable housing sector, given its tremendous importance and the amount of investment that the city and FFE make in it. And then staff communication, as we discussed at the last board meeting, that would be just the appropriate time to put those two together. So we talk about 2020 affordable housing projects that the city supported, and then we could do our look forward to 2021. So those would be communications. Regular agenda, we would have the budget recommendation. So quick background there is that because of the time of the meeting on September 21st, the transmittal, the first budget presentation to City Commission was moved to October 5th. So we're still in good shape, just a little change of schedule there. So Commission will have reviewed it. So we will have done those first two meetings as we have in past years. And then it would be ready to come back to the board on the 12th for a review again and potentially, comment from the board, but then ultimately we'd be seeking a recommendation of that budget to the City Commission for approval with the city's budget as we have in previous years. We would also then have the director terms of office and item 3, approval of the board committee meetings, which is also the last. We'll review that here today as the last item on the regular agenda. So I think we've got everything we need here for the board as the last board meeting of 2020, believe it or not. Additions or comments?
Looks good to me.
Yeah. Okay.
Are you ready for the action?
Yes, Madam President.
All right. So I'm looking for a motion to approve the next board agenda for our meeting on October 12th of 2020 of the full board of the Foundation for Excellence.
So moved.
Thank you, Director Dennison.
Support.
Thank you, Director Carroll. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the approval of this action item, answer with aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Thank you all.
And Madam President, I will scroll down. It's directly to the item is approval of the 2021 board and committee meetings. Another housekeeping item here for the executive committee. It is recommended the committee review and approve the meeting schedule. Background here is, if you remember in 2018 and 2019, we were still trying to figure out everyone's schedule. And then in 2020, we moved to a fixed, basically a third Monday setup for the board. And then we also put together executive and finance into the same alternating Mondays. It's worked really well. There's been positive comments from board members. And so we see continuing that as the way forward. So I'll scroll down here. So this is the draft schedule for 2021. So sticking with the Mondays, and this is also married together to the best of our ability. Of course, we're still, a year away from some of these predictions, but this is interlaced with city commission meetings in a deliberate way so that we can conduct our business as efficiently as possible, taking into account how the budget has to go back and forth between the two bodies. And then also with the Foundation for Excellence Investment Subcommittee, which meets quarterly, trying to make sure that the Finance Committee meetings are after that so that the reports make their way up through the process and ultimately to the board. So you'll see at the bottom there, approval is sought on 10/12, so that'll be confirmed there and then publicly posted. We make a note of that as well. This year, there's a small note here for just giving some information about the online nature of the meetings, that people can find them on our YouTube and Facebook channels. And then we, intend to resume a community room in the future. So again, who knows when that's going to happen, but hopefully sooner rather than later.
Can you scroll up, Steve? Oh, I see. It's in the background. Okay, never mind.
Okay.
Okay. Looks
Okay, and
good.
if the executive committee approves it, then we can take it to the board for approval and posting on October 12th.
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries.
And Madam President, that brings us to item E, public comments, and I believe Joe from IT is on.
We have no public comments at this time.
Okay.
Okay. Any board member comments?
Nope.
No.
I just want to thank Steve again for his support of this board and this organization. And also I received a very kind note. Many of you have heard about the recent loss and unexpected loss of my father. And I just want to let you know that your words of sympathy really touched us all deeply, and to just thank you all so much for that. Knowing that my colleagues are there meant everything. So thank you. Hearing no other board member comments, I will entertain, a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Thank you.
Support.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for your time today. And have
Thank
a
you.
Thank you. Bye.
bye.
Aye.
Bye, everybody.